Russell Wilson era is over. The Jackson Dart era underway. Dart will be under center when the Giants take on the Chargers. Here's how Russ's moderately short 3-game tenure went with the Giants. Washington, all right, hey, first game, just getting my feet wet. Passer rating of under 60, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Then you got to feast on the Cowboys, and it was like, holy cow, almost 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, passer rating of 123. Then the Chiefs came to town. No touchdowns, 2 bad interceptions, passer rating at 44. Was this the right time to make this move? Also, Super Bowl champion Great Plains is here.
I understand, like Nick, you said yesterday, you don't want his first game to be against the Chargers, which I do understand. But look, it's the NFL. You're playing good teams. You're going to face great teams. And even the bad teams are still good. It's the NFL. Mm-hmm. And that Saints game a week from now or 2 weeks from now is in New Orleans. This at least is at home. And I agree. I would have liked to have seen him play a lesser team. But I think, Greg, that locker room may have been so – when you saw what Russ did in the last game, particularly that one series where he threw the ball in the tunnel, he hit the goal post, you got a chance to score. I wonder if the spirit was just so broken from what the players were seeing, like on this series in particular, that maybe the team was like, we got to make a change. And right now, even though they're 0-3, I'm sure players may feel like there's still some hope. And maybe if this kid comes in, he looked good in the preseason and can give them a spark that helps. Whereas if you go to Jameis just for a game, Jameis may play well. Then it's 3 or 4 games. Who knows? And by the time you get to Jackson Dart, the season is over, and maybe some of the players have mailing it in, and you don't get a good look at him. So, look, I'm fine with it. Russ definitely needed to be benched.
Look, there's never really a right time to move on. When a player plays this bad, it's telling, though. Like, we had the stats up there. Week 1, it is what it is. And this is in relation to what we have seen him become or turn into over the last few years. So if it's not going to look like what we saw a couple weeks ago against Dallas consistently, we're going to believe this is kind of who you are now. And so naturally, you start to see other things that push you and nudge you towards making decisions like this. When you see Dable and Neighbors getting into it on the sideline a few weeks back, like we didn't see that last year. We didn't see these types of things when you have other young quarterbacks having success or growing pains, whatever the case may be. It's a part of the game, to your point. And for me, the seat just keeps getting hotter. The flame keeps getting bigger.
For who?
For Dable,
right,
and for everyone involved. And so you made this point. You almost lower your level of expectation when you say, you know what, let's start fresh with this rookie.
I mean, listen, I think Jackson Dart might end up being good. I don't really, I don't have a hot take on if Jackson Dart's going to be a good pro or not. I liked him enough coming out of the draft. I didn't think them spending a late first-round pick on him was bad. We'll see. I hate this process. If Jackson Dart is ready to start in week 4, he was ready to start in week 1.
Probably.
So I don't like that part of it. I said yesterday, I didn't like it all, that it's very clear either Dable or Shane or both of them or people higher than that, of which there's only a few, were very, very open with Collinsworth and Tirico about how excited they are to bench Russell Wilson and go to Jackson Dart. And I also think, personally, again, this is just my gut, they are not basing this off for this week what is the best for Jackson Dart. They're basing it off, this is a home game and we don't want to be booed the whole time. And it is bad for our job security and bad for us to have the owner see everyone booing us, and instead people will be excited because the kid is playing.
Regardless of the result.
Regardless of the result, people will be excited because Russ's game against the Cowboys gave you enough, for lack of a better term, plausible deniability to start in one more game, and then you have the Saints on the road, less pressure on the kid, all of it. And that's not what they're doing. And so I think the process has been bad with the Giants and this brain trust from the beginning. I think signing the quarterback stuff has been bad. It just flatly the way they've done it. The flip side, the other side of this conversation is, for us, in my opinion, twofold. One is, if you were the Cincinnati Bengals, would you call the New York Giants with Jake Browning's 5 interceptions in the last 2 weeks and the team at 2-1? And if they don't, is Russell Wilson's career over? Those are the, I think those are.
If you're the Bengals, would you?
I would not, but I have been more down on Russ than most people for 4 years now. Like, I thought he was done his last year in Seattle. That was 4 teams ago.
If Cincinnati Bengals should not call Russ. Like, he almost forced them to make this call because of how bad. Like, there's a difference between, like, not having good games and just not giving your team a chance to win.
Right.
When we look at that sequence you're talking about, that goal-to-goal sequence, those 4 consecutive plays, when you're talking about a veteran who has a resume like his, you at least got to give me some glimmer of hope, and to not be able to
ball, maybe
something wild. It's like you can't allow it to look like that, and then the fans are booing. The players are disgruntled. The locker room, the chatter just continues to get louder and louder and louder, and then say, you know what, let's do it one more time. No,
that's fair. Listen, Brew, I feel like he has played for large stretches since he left Seattle of what I have called a selfish brand of football that I can only attribute to trying to protect his Football Reference page for an eventual Hall of Fame case. Like, it is. And you would like to think that you're not doing that in the final 2 minutes of a game that, you're down 13, so technically you have a chance. But it's hard. I don't know what else you attribute that type of misses to. By 50, are they misses or throwaways? You can't throw it away on 4th and goal.
No.
You know what I mean? You can't throw it so I don't.
But the ball bounced off the upright. So it's either a throw so bad I bounced it off the upright, or it was a decision. So it's either way, it's really bad.
Yeah.
It's not good. You know what? Just to put a fine point on it, something I learned from Greg, from my Patriots when we were down in the dumps.
Proper form?
No, that's true too. I was like, we were trying to talk about Gerard May. I was like, you guys do anything well? And I was like, no, last year. I do like this because it reminds me of a little bit of what Dan Campbell did with the Lions. Like, we're not even going to have to win games. We have to establish an identity.
Yeah.
And when it's like Abdul Carter, the defense hasn't been good, but he's a guy. Mm-hmm. Scadaboo is a guy and has a certain vibe. Malik Neighbors is a guy, has a certain vibe. And Jackson Dart's a guy with a certain vibe. They all of a sudden feel kind of like a nice Broadway, kind of cool, young team. Now, is Dayball the coach for that team? I don't know, but I understand that team. Mm-hmm. Cool, young players with a certain swagger to them that might go,
5 and 12.
But still, but it's an identity. But it's an identity. It's not just
something you can latch on.
It's an interesting dinner party too. Neighbors, Scadaboo, Abdul Carter, and Jackson Dart. I'd
love
to be a fly on that. I'm into that. Oh my goodness.
I'm into
they
that.
better win some
probably
games.
got some
tapes.
They're going to.
Reverberate past the sun.
Jalen Hurts lit up the Rams and talked to his offensive coordinator during the game. Some people are saying this was a told-you-so game that resulted in Donovan McNabb saying you need to trust Jalen. Here is the former Eagles QB on WIP.
It seems to me like they don't trust Jalen enough, who's your MVP of the Super Bowl, who's taken you to 2 Super Bowls and also helped you win the game in the second half of a lot of games that he's played in this year. It seems to me like they're not utilizing his ability to be able to spread the ball around and push the ball downfield. But to me, again, it just doesn't start with your MVP quarterback, and it should.
Is it time for the Eagles to lean in more on Jalen Hurts?
I think he should throw it a little more. I think he's averaging about 23 passes a game. I said going in, 28, 29-ish, that's where I want him. But more than the passes, because look, believe it or not, he's thrown more passes than Lamar Jackson. Lamar's only thrown 75. He's thrown 77. Jordan Love's thrown 78. So, He's throwing it a decent amount.
But the second half of this game did all that work.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's
But I'm more concerned about how they're throwing the football, because you keep showing these charts where they're throwing all these little dink and dunk passes with him. Throw the ball downfield. If you throw it 25 times a game, but there's a significant number are downfield, I would be happy with that. And look, you also got to look at, we got two great wide receivers who understandably want some touches, want some targets. So keep them, and not to mention a tight end and a running back that can catch the ball. And your running back isn't getting a lot of yardage right now. So yeah, they should throw it more, but more importantly, throw it more downfield.
Initially, I was with you. I'm like, yeah, they got to lean into Jalen Hurts a lot more. And then I delved a little deeper into who they are and what they've become. This is their identity. Donovan McNabb was saying, they don't have an identity yet. Well, they do have an identity. It's just not being put on display the way we saw it last year. They want to run the ball. Mm-hmm. That's who they are. And last year, the first 3 games, they threw the ball over 30 times.
Yeah, and it didn't.
The 4th week, they did that as well. Jalen Hurts had, what was it? I want to say he had
2 and 2, right?
3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in those games. And then for 9 weeks after the Bucs lost, for 9 straight weeks, he did not throw the ball, attempt passes more than 30 in the game. For 9 straight weeks. Pittsburgh, week 17, he does it. The playoff run, he didn't do it again. Their key to success was not that. Who they want to be, you kind of alluded to it. When you look at their average passes, their average rushes, I got the numbers. We can look at them. This is what they want to be. They want to run the ball, and they want to average about 25 passes a game. It has been the key to their success. It has eliminated the turnovers, and when you look at that 9-game stretch, 1 turnover, 1 interception.
So can I jump in, though? Yeah. Leave those numbers up. So here's the issue, though. The 57 yards a game you're missing.
Correct.
Rushing from last year to this year.
Absolutely.
And which has then led to, in my opinion, the 40 yards per game you're missing in the passing game. Because like those, they build on each other. So here would be my question that I understand that's who they want to be. They want to be what the Lions were yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Our quarterback can make the big throws when we need him to, but we're going to run it down your throat. They haven't been that. They also, in my opinion, have a little margin of error now because they are the defending champs. They do have that pedigree, and much like I have said, I thought the Chiefs in years past would at times use beginning parts of seasons to figure things out and try things out, so to speak, because we know what we're great at, what our bread and butter is. Let's see if we can add more to it. What is the harm in letting Jalen try? Like, okay, last year at the beginning of the year, it didn't work. Maybe you're a better player. 2 years ago, to Bruce's point, we let you try more than we do now. You almost won league MVP, or you finished top 3. AJ wants you to do it. I think Jalen's post-game press conference on the field that you pointed out yesterday was an illusion that he kind of would like to do it. And what you're doing right now is working-ish. It's working in that your team has been good enough to win. You had no business being in that giant. You shouldn't have needed 2 blocked field goals and a shutout in the second half, or most of the second half, to have a chance against the Rams. I would give him a shot at it because maybe Saquon also could use a little breather.
Open things up for Saquon. What do you think about throwing it more downfield, though? Even if you throw it 20